The film opens with a mountainous landscape. We see a couple named Becky and her husband Dan climbing a mountain. They recently got married and living a happy life. They love climbing mountains, even though they are very brave. Their craziness took them to dangerous places. Becky's friend was also with them, and she liked taking risks. Three of them always found a new danger for them. While climbing on the mountain, Dan's hand accidentally touches a bird's nest. He becomes unbalanced as the bird flies and was hung with a rope and couldn't climb up even if he wants. Becky and her friend try hard to save him, but they can't. Because of this, he falls and dies. Later, after 1 year, we see that Becky is still mourning. She still keeps Dan's ashes with her. She also starts drinking more, and her life completely falls apart. Becky's father became very disturbed at seeing his daughter in this condition. After a long time, he invites his best friend, named Hunter. She used to climb mountains with Becky and her husband. After the death of her husband, she meets her best friend after a year. She says, "Let's go on another mountain climbing adventure. It was our hobby. You'll feel better if you come with me." She then shows her a historic tower 2,000 feet tall that stood in the desert. She invites her to go there and scatter her husband's ashes. "You'll feel better, and your husband's soul will rest in peace." After thinking a lot about it, Becky finally decides to go with Hunter. She wants to have fun with her, and they start their journey. They have a lot of fun on the way and make videos on their phone. But because they are not paying attention, a big accident almost happens. A fast truck nearly hits them, but they stop their car just in time. They feel relieved that they are safe and continue their journey. Finally, they reach their destination. On the way, Hunter sees a dead goat being eaten by birds. She scares the birds away and takes a picture of the goat. Later, she posts it on Instagram. After that, they reach the tower, and Hunter starts recording a video. She captures everything on camera. At first, they feel scared when they see how tall the tower is. Becky looks very scared. Hunter comforts her, saying there's nothing to worry about and that they can do it. Hunter makes sure she is safe and ties Becky securely before they start climbing. As they go up, Becky notices everything: the old, rusty tower and the creaking stairs. She feels hopeful but also afraid, but she keeps climbing. After climbing up, Hunter tells Becky that they have reached the middle of the tower. They have crossed 1,000 feet, which is as tall as the Eiffel Tower. The wind is blowing strongly at this height. Holding onto a stair, Hunter tells Becky that they are close to the top. When Becky looks down, she feels scared. Hunter playfully shakes the stairs, making Becky more scared. Slowly, they climb to the top of the tower. While climbing, a stair bolt breaks, but they don't see it because they are too excited. Hunter takes out her drone camera and records everything. Becky feels happy to be with her friend. Hunter, feeling excited, hangs from the tower and asks Becky to take her picture. Then she encourages Becky to do the same. Becky is scared at first, but overcomes her fear and takes the picture. Hunter hugs Becky, and Becky tosses her husband's ashes into the air. She feels a little relieved, and they both start missing him. After completing their mission, they decide to climb down. Suddenly, the rusty stair breaks. Becky slips and hangs in the air, but Hunter manages to pull her up. Becky's bag gets stuck on the tower's antenna. It has their drone camera and food, but it is now out of reach. Becky begins to panic. They try to use their phones, but there is no signal at the top of the tower. Later, they find a flare gun and a microscope in the tower. Hunter says the gun is useless now because if they fire it too early, no one might see it. Becky gets worried when she sees an injury on her leg. She bandages it, and they try to stay calm. They sit there and continue recording their vlog. After a few hours, Hunter looks through the microscope and sees a car far away, but they can't call for help. Later, Hunter checks her phone and sees that the post she made earlier got many likes and comments. This means there was a signal on the ground before. Hunter writes a message for help and tries to post it. She ties her phone to a rope and lowers it down, hoping it will catch a signal so their followers can see the message. But the phone is still out of signal range, so the message doesn't send. Hunter decides to go even lower by hanging from the tower to get a better signal. Still, the message doesn't send, so Hunter comes up with a new idea. She decides to throw her phone down, but worries it might break. She puts the phone in her socks first, then inside her shoes to protect it. Finally, she throws the phone down, hoping that when it reaches the ground, it will get a signal and send the message for help. Hunter looks through the microscope and sees a man with his dog on the ground. The man is talking on the phone. Becky quickly throws her shoe down to get his attention, but he doesn't notice and just walks away. Becky was about to shoot the gun, but Hunter stops her. She tells Becky to wait until sunset because someone will surely come to rescue them. At night, Becky watches a video on her phone to pass the time. She notices something strange. Hunter is looking at her and her husband in a weird way. Meanwhile, Hunter asks Becky to shoot the flare gun. Later, Becky turns on her phone's flashlight and starts spinning it around to get attention. Two men see them but cannot help because they are too too high up. Instead of helping, the men steal their car. That night, they try to sleep, but Hunter almost falls off the tower. Becky quickly saves her. While helping, Becky notices a tattoo on Hunter's leg with the number 143. Becky suddenly remembers something. Whenever she told her husband, "I love you," he would reply with 143. Becky realizes that Hunter had a relationship with her husband. Hunter has no choice but to confess everything. Becky feels strange and upset after hearing this. Hunter apologizes. Just then, Becky sees the bag with her drone and water bottle inside. Hunter tells her, "I'll get your bag." She attaches hooks to each side of the tower and ties herself with a rope. Then, she tries to reach the bag but can't. Since she has always been brave, she jumps and climbs onto the antenna. She takes the bag, but now the rope is out of reach. Using a selfie stick from her bag, she attaches the bag to a rope. Then, she jumps and grabs the rope. She climbs up slowly while holding on. Suddenly, her rope slips and she falls. Becky sees this and starts crying. Later, she looks down and sees Hunter hanging there. Hunter is still alive, but her hands are hurt, so she can't climb up. Becky tries her best to pull Hunter up. Finally, she saves her friend. They take some water and write a note. They attach the note to a drone and send it out. Unfortunately, the drone's battery dies while flying, so they bring it back, and now it is nighttime. At night, Becky sees Hunter fall and die. Birds are eating her body, but when Becky wakes up, she realizes it was just a dream. She notices a light on the tower and gets an idea. She can charge the drone battery. In the morning, Becky climbs up and charges the drone. She hangs there until the drone is fully charged. Then, she climbs down, writes a note, and attaches it to the drone. They send the drone toward a house. But before reaching the house, the drone crashes into a car and breaks. They spend the day hoping someone will come to save them. Becky's condition gets worse, and she can't stay there any longer. She asks Hunter for her shoe so she can throw her phone with a note, as it's her only option. But Hunter stops her, and something important is revealed. Hunter had already died when she went to get the bag. She imagined that Hunter was still with her. Her mind created this illusion so she wouldn't feel alone. But when she looked down, she saw birds eating Hunter's body. Becky cried a lot and recorded a final message for her dad. She lost hope of surviving. Morning came, and another day passed. A bird flew toward her, drawn by the blood on her leg. Becky grabbed the bird, broke its neck, and ate it raw. She was starving, and eating gave her enough energy to survive. Meanwhile, her father was very worried and wanted to search for her. Becky gathered her courage and climbed down to where Hunter's body was on the antenna. She put her phone inside Hunter's shoe, turned her body over, and said sorry to her friend. Then, she pushed Hunter's body down, hoping the phone would survive the fall so her father could get the message. A few hours later, Becky's dad arrived near the tower. He saw Hunter's dead body being taken by the police and thought Becky was also dead. Just then, Becky called out, "Dad." Her father was relieved and hugged her tightly. Becky's strength and courage had saved her life. The movie ends here. Thanks.